Welcome to Musician Profiles, celebrating racial diversity. This is ICSOM's monthly series of short videos to feature orchestra musicians of color. I'm Stephen Lafer. I'm a horn player in the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra, and I'm the ICSOM alternate delegate. This month, we're chatting with Wei-Ping Chou, who currently holds the position of second horn with the Kennedy Center Opera House Orchestra. A native of Taiwan, she was the first and still, correct me if I'm wrong, still the only horn player in Juilliard's history to be awarded the artist diploma. That's what your bio says, right?
No, I think that's still true.
All right, we'll just go with that. How's that? We'll go with that. Wei Ping started playing the horn at the age of 9, received her bachelor's degree from the Manhattan School of Music as a student of Jerome Ashby, and her master's from Juilliard under Julie Landsman. Wei Ping, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get right to our questions. So I know I sent you a list of questions we'd cover, but then I looked at your bio on the Kennedy Center website and I saw something about the flying trapeze. So we're going to have to start with that because I definitely need you to tell me about that.
Okay, actually, it's funny that you brought it up because one of your questions was about if I were to go back, to tell the college Wei-Ping what to do or anything. And then one of my thoughts, there were actually two big things. One is to be more open-minded, and that includes do other things other than music. So I was very determined when I was young that I want to be a classical musician, and that's all I did. I went to a conservatory, and all my classmates are musicians, all my friends are musicians. I didn't do anything really that's not music related. But now I do. Now I have a lot of things. So one of the things I would say is to start taking flying trapeze class in college. That was one of the things I would tell myself. And then, yeah, and actually, the other thing I would tell myself is to be more financially aware about life and also plan ahead. And in that sense, what I meant is I was determined to keep taking orchestra auditions until I get an orchestra job. But so I thought that means to practice and to be patient, to be just what we were told in school. But what I didn't realize until I started taking audition is that how expensive it costs to take audition.
Oh, yes.
So that's one thing I wish I knew, and I wish I could have planned better, and also to start a Roth IRA in college.
Right.
Yeah, all that things. Yeah.
So do I have to do the flying trapeze? Can I just go hiking or something like that?
Yes, you can, but I think everyone should try flying trapeze at least once in life. It's
Not
very
too
safe.
sure about that. I'll take your word for that. I'm not too sure. All
I love
right.
it.
So what led you to the horn?
Okay, so my mom, in short, but there's a story behind it. So I was in a special music program in when I was third grade, and then everyone plays the piano, and plus, and you're required to play another instrument. So at the time, my mom is a musician herself. She teaches beginner piano and ear training, and she was a elementary school music teacher, so she knew something about music. So for her, it's sort of a process of elimination. She thought the string instruments are too costly, and also there's too much changing instruments in terms of size when you're young, and then when you get older, also too much maintenance in terms of changing the bow hair, changing strings. So that's out of the window.
Sure.
And then she thought too many people play the flute, so it's too competitive. And she thought woodwind instruments, the same thing, too much maintenance, that you have to worry about the weather change, the humidity in the air, and all that. And remaking is another story. So that's out the window. So she moved to the brass family. She thought the trombones were too big. Actually, my brother plays the trombone, and then trumpets are too loud. So it's like, I don't think she even thought about tuba in her world at that time. And then, so she was like, horn here. But I also remember in sort of the orientation of my third grade, everyone, you see different instruments for the first time, for me at least. And then you have a fifth grader demonstrating the French horn for us. And I remember thinking, and this is what you want me to play? It didn't sound very good. It doesn't look very cool. And yeah, but I wouldn't change a thing now.
That's funny
Yeah.
because I originally went to the horn just because I thought it looked and it sounded cool. To me, it looked and sounded cooler than anything else in the orchestra.
You must have a good demonstrator.
So,
Yeah.
was there a particular moment in your education where you knew you wanted to do this for a living and become a professional orchestra musician?
I think I don't know if there's a particular moment per se, but I think since I went to music school since I was third grade, and I went to an art high school in the States, and I went to conservatories, and so I was sort of just in that world. But I think in high school, when I was in high school, I was for the first time realizing I think I want to do horn for the rest of my life. And I don't know for sure at that moment it's because I love it, but I also don't know if that's also because that's the only thing I know.
Hmm.
But I was remembering very proud at that age, maybe probably 16 or 17, knowing that I know what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then and I remember being very nerdy listening to all actually I also only listened to classical music when I was young. So I guess yeah, so in high school that's when I first realized this is what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, do you remember the first time you heard an orchestra and what kind of an impression it made on you?
Yeah, again, so this wasn't a professional orchestra. This when I was third grade in the music program where I heard there's orchestra that's fifth grader and sixth grader. So I'm now thinking back, they must not have sound great. However, I remember being fascinated by it, thinking watching opera classmates in all in one rehearsal room, um, all working together, and it seemed fun, and also it was I think it's the combination of playing music together and all working together. And then it was something that I have never done before.
Hmm.
And then it was something I remember looking forward to be, a couple years older than I can join them and be one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So fast forward now to your time in first in San Diego and now in DC. Are there any special concerts, something particularly memorable that stands out in your mind?
So for me, it's maybe not one concert, but it's sort of like for example, what I want to say is when earlier in WNO, it's when we did the ring cycle.
Oh yeah.
So for me, that was something that I would always treasure and always remember. And that's like the whole period of time, including from well, actually, when they first announced that we're going to do a ring cycle, and then from getting the music and preparing myself and getting together with my section to do sectionals before our first rehearsal, and then actually I still remember, and then did 41 rehearsals before the opening night, and then did 3 cycles of the ring cycles. That was I thought it was unbelievable in the whole round of it.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky as horn players. Those of us who actually get to do at least one ring cycle in our lives, we're pretty fortunate to get to do that. It's kind of like the pinnacle of everything we're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
So why do you think a series like this might be especially important right now?
So honestly, I never thought about it when I was younger. But now I'm also a teacher that I hear a lot of from my students that they told me that they didn't, when they go to a concert, when they look at the musicians, they don't see necessarily a lot of people that look like them. And then there was something that I personally never thought of when I was younger. Well, partially could be because before I was 15, I was in Taiwan. Everyone looked like me. so so I never thought about that too much. But then now I realize talking to them that I think it's very important for them to see role models that look like them. Even though that's not everything, but I think it's easier to envision yourself being in that role, in the future when you see someone like that. So I feel like a series like this will sort of encourage them and to know them that we're all out there and then how it is possible.
For sure. Wonderful. Anything else you'd like to share that you might like ICSOM listeners to know about you? Something other than flying on the trapeze?
Well, I'm a mom now, which is I think
Oh,
it's
congrats.
most amazing thing more than I know it sounds so cheesy, but it is true. It's better than the horn, better than flying trapeze. Uh she's adorable and she's 9.5 months. And I do think personally I'm probably a better musician because of that. I don't know why or how, but I think I am. So, and so it's wonderful.
Fully understandable. Yeah. Well, then that wraps it up for us. Thanks so much for sitting down with us, letting people know a little bit more about you. Before we sign off, this video is my final contribution as I'm going to hand over the reins to next year's presenter, who is actually Wei-Ping's former Kennedy Center colleague, Doug Rosenthal, who's now with the Pittsburgh Symphony. It has been an absolute pleasure to do these interviews every single month, and thank you for watching. Please join Doug next month. Bye now. Thanks, Wei-Ping.
Thank you.